So managing ethics in the workplace and in your, the enforcement process, who's involved in that? Certainly the CEO or the general manager, but depending on the size of your organization, maybe you have an ethics committee made up of different employees, or within the board of directors, you might have an ethics committee, or you might have someone specifically dedicated to ethics administration, an ethics officer within the board or within your organization, or kind of an independent group, an ombudsman who might oversee that for you. And then enforcement process and protocol, as Deb touched on, there wasn't a lot of feedback that there was a standard process in place, and that is one of the messages that we definitely want you to take away today, as well as when you get the best practice product, is it's going to be critical that you have a process in place for enforcement, because once those who are impacted by the policy understand that there is a process in place, then that just adds more meat to the actual policy. They understand that you've thought through that there potentially could be issues that arise, and so here's how we're going to deal with it. And you want to make sure that that's communicated, and then when the time comes, that you follow that process that you've adopted. And so let folks know how to file a complaint. Just having that policy out there isn't going to help them, because we have situations within our organizations where you may have PCAMs working with PCAMs, and peers working with peers, or if a subordinate sees a supervisor, let them know what that process is. Make sure that there's an understanding that they can't just come and throw things, you know, throw a dead fish at your feet kind of things. They've got to substantiate why it's an issue. That's critical, because again, the question is going to be, is it really ethical, or is it just a misconduct that requires some disciplinary action? And then timeliness, be timely. When someone comes to you with a complaint, make sure that you're vetting it efficiently. Sometimes it may take you a while, but let the complainant know that what the time frame is going to be for your review. An investigation, again, focusing on, is it really an ethical issue? So make sure that you have a clear understanding from the complainant what the issue is, and that you've had a chance to sit down and visit with the person accused of the violation, because again, it may be perception, it may be reality, but you want to make sure that you've thoroughly vetted what the situation might be. In the end, you're going to keep hearing us say, is it a violation or not? In the end, make sure you have a practice in place. What do you do with those findings? And how do you communicate that? If you're in an office and someone knows that someone's under investigation for something, that isn't just an issue that's affecting the accused person and the complainant, but it's likely affecting the whole office. And so there's going to be borderline issues in terms of what you can and can't communicate, but you want to make sure that the whole work environment isn't affected negatively as a result of someone using the process in place. Yes, ma'am?
With regard to the differences between ethical violations and misconduct, are you suggesting that there should be a different protocol for addressing those, so a different means of filing a complaint, different actions to follow up on them? Because
they may run similar paths, but I think it's going to be important for you to think about, if it is a misconduct, there are going to be different ramifications perhaps in your personnel policy for misconduct than a violation of the code. Because if you have a violation of the code and it's one of the CAI's codes, you have obligations outside of your internal organization in reporting that. It could be. It could be. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and so examples of where unethical behavior could occur that you may not even think about. And so the reverse of that is, how do you model ethical behavior? And we had the example that, well, the senior management is ethical, so we don't have to do anything. Well, senior management could change. Senior management could have some hard times and change their behavior. But you could have ethical issues that arise between supervisors and employees, certainly. Peers and team members, and that's probably one of the most challenging ones in terms of a peer feeling safe that if they are seeing an ethical situation that they can report it. Consultants, so is someone trying to bribe one of your employees to get a job or that type of thing? And then customers. It's not unusual in the large-scale environment for us to know that a resident says, hey, come on over here and do this for me to your maintenance crew, and I'll just pay them under the table. So those are the types of things that could occur. And then certainly for those of us with credentials, we have issues between ourselves, PCAM to PCAM, AMS, RS,